Mostly everything we do is based on vibes. Good or bad, everything has a vibe check attached to it, including video games. With the perfect blend of music, gameplay, and story, you could have a variety of different vibes, whether it's nostalgic, chill, or even spooky. There's many factors that go into the vibes of certain games, and I just want to talk a little bit about them. Starting off with vibe checks. Now, what exactly do I mean by vibe check? To me, it's the initial reaction or feeling that you get when you first look at a game. Back then, it used to be looking at the box art for the games and picking whichever one looked the coolest. Now that physical copies are becoming a thing of the past, I think the main vibe checks are the title screens. Some of the best title screens, in my opinion, are the ones that change with the story. For example, in Dragon's Age Inquisition, when you press start, an explosion happens, setting up what's to come. Music is probably an obvious one that plays into the vibes of a game throughout the whole runtime. Without music, there's really no vibes at all. There's only a few cases where no music can work for me, and all these cases would be horror games when they're trying to set up moments of tension or jump scares or things of that nature. But other than that, without music, you got a vibeless game, and we just can't have that. There's a couple of other things that go into the vibes of a game, but I want to talk about specific games to get my point across. Let's start off with blasting that ass back to the past. Listen to this real quick. How's that make y'all feel? Y'all remember Ape Escape? This is peak nostalgia for me. Now, when Ape Escape first released, I was but a baby boy. I remember this as being one of the first games ever really playing, as well as the first vibe check I had in gaming. This title screen alone was telling you everything you needed to know about the game before even pressing play, and the vibes just keep going after starting the game. In the opening cutscene, the music continues to be a banger. Just look at the professor trying to calculate and triangulate where the vibes are coming from. Little does he know he's in them. Besides the music, there's a couple of other things that I really think play into the vibes of this game. A big one being the sound effects of almost everything. From switching tools and weapons and even using them, especially that radar noise. Ooh, it just tickles my brain. To your footsteps while running, and last but not least, capturing the monkeys. Gotcha. This sound effect was perfect, and it's basically the culmination of your efforts, and it feels so satisfying every time you hear it. The last thing I think really plays into the vibes of this game is its simplicity. Ape Escape is a pretty easy game. The main objective is to go around each map, capture all the monkeys, and get the hell out of there. But with this game not being really that hard, you're able to sit back and listen to all the sound effects and bangers of music they had on each level. So it's really a chill vibe. Moving on to another game that I just started to get into recently and may make a whole different video on is Death Stranding. Now, I'm not too far into this game just yet, but from what I've played so far, god damn, this game has some good vibes at times and very stressful vibes at others. The way that the map is set up, you could easily see the distance you're traveling as well as how good the environment looks as a whole. It makes it really feel like a journey to get from one place to another. On top of that, there's random times where the music will kick in and really take the experience to another level. It's honestly kind of wild how much of a difference music can play into how things feel. But this game can get real stressful real fast. With how the weight management system works while making these deliveries, it can make doing simple movements feel almost impossible at times. And on top of that, if it starts raining and enemies come out while having to deal with the weight of the shipments and the rain, your stress just doubles. Especially when you see yourself roll down a giant hill and the whole time all you can think of is how dumb you are for trying to jump over a rock with all this shit on your back just because you didn't feel like taking a 30-second detour. But overall, this game is able to create a real sense of journey, so it creates a real chill vibe for the most part. Moving on to something a little more spooky, a little more sinister. The Dead Space remake. In my opinion, this game is able to set up one of the spookiest vibes in horror games, all with one thing: the lighting. The lighting plays such a huge role in how this game feels. With the way the environmental lighting is set up, every shadow seems like it could be a monster lurking in the dark. I'm not really going to talk about the music or sound effects in this one because I feel like the lighting really takes center stage. You can really feel the tension when walking down one of the many hallways with flickering lights, just waiting for something to pop out and make you feel like a little baby having poopy time all over yourself because of how goddamn loud they are in the silence of the ship. The last game I'm gonna talk about is another game I started recently. Its name is Hi-Fi Rush. Now, this game's artwork and music are the things that really stick out and create that unique vibe. The artwork is very cartoony and borderline comic book looking at times. It honestly reminds me a lot of Borderlands if they upped the contrast by about 100, and I really enjoy enjoy it. So visually, this is already fun to look at. With the way the gameplay is set up, everything is on beat to the music playing. So all the attacks, movements, and abilities, and literally everything else in the world, including the background, all sync up together, so everything is just so satisfying and blends together perfectly. If you haven't played this game yet, I strongly recommend it. This is another game that you could really just relax to. Wrapping up, there's many things that can go into the vibes of game. I've been expanding the different types of games I play lately, and it's really shown there's a lot of vibey games out there to experience that I've just completely missed out on throughout the years. Let me know what you think the ultimate vibe game is to you, and go out and try new games. You never know what new things you can expect. Who knows? Maybe you'll find your new favorite game in a genre you've never played before.